The trade platform floated above the wide clouds of the gas giant, turning slowly like a metal moon. Lights ran along its edges, and ships of many shapes came and went. This place was called neutral, but everyone knew it belonged to the strong. The weak were allowed only if they stayed quiet. Lena moved through the cargo bay with a loaded cart in front of her. The floor vibrated under her boots as a heavy freighter docked nearby. She kept her head down, eyes forward, hands steady. That was how humans survived out here. Do your work. Do not stare. Do not argue. Around her, tall alien figures walked with long steps and wide shoulders. Their skin was hard, scaled, or plated. Their voices were deep and rough. They spoke loudly, knowing humans would not answer back. To them, humans were soft things from a high-gravity world that somehow had not killed them yet. Lena was small compared to most of them. Her jacket was worn. Her gloves were old but clean. She had been on this platform for 2 years, long enough to learn every rule without ever being told. Rule 1 was simple: never get in their way. She guided the cart toward a storage lift, checking the cargo tag again. Medical supplies, fragile. She slowed down as a group of predators crossed the bay. They were enforcers, hired muscle that kept order through fear. Their leader was easy to spot. Krellis stood taller than the rest. His body was thick and wide, covered in dark plates that overlapped like armor. His arms were long, ending in heavy hands with blunt claws. His eyes were yellow and cold, set deep in his skull. A shot baton hung at his side, though he rarely needed it. Lena stopped the cart and waited. She stood still, just like she had been taught. He walked straight toward her, his heavy steps echoing through the bay. Other workers moved aside quickly. Some aliens watched with mild interest. A few humans nearby froze, knowing what usually happened next. Krellis looked down at Lena, his mouth pulling back in a rough shape that passed for a smile.
"Move," he said in broken trade language. Lena was already moving.
She pulled the cart back, turning it slightly so he could pass. But space was tight, and the lift behind her was opening with a loud hiss. Krellis did not wait. He shoved her. The push was meant to send her crashing to the floor. He used only one arm, not even looking at her anymore. To him, it was nothing. Just clearing space. Lena stumbled back, her heel catching on the edge of the lift track. Pain shot up her leg. For half a second, she felt the empty drop behind her. Something snapped inside her. She did not think. She did not plan. She grabbed him, her hands locked onto the thick plates at his waist. Muscles tightened, legs braced, and she pulled with everything she had. Years of heavy work, long shifts, and living under crushing gravity came together in one raw movement. Krellis made a sound of surprise as his feet left the ground. The world seemed to slow. Lena twisted, using his weight, her weight, and the open space behind her. Krellis's eyes widened as the lift bay vanished beneath him. His arms flailed once, claws scraping uselessly against air. Then he was gone. The sound of his body hitting nothing was silent, but the alarms were not. Red lights flashed along the bay. A warning voice filled the air, repeating in several languages. Open platform breach detected. Lena stood frozen, her hands still clenched, her heart pounding so hard it hurt. Her breath came fast and sharp. She stared at the empty space beyond the rail where Krellis had been. No one spoke. Aliens turned slowly. Some stepped back without meaning to. Others leaned forward, trying to understand what they had just seen. A human had lifted an enforcer. A human had thrown him into space. Security drones dropped from the ceiling, their sensors glowing. Weapons extended but did not fire. Even the machines seemed unsure. Lena felt the weight of every eye on her. Fear rushed in, cold and heavy. She knew what should happen next. Arrest, punishment, worse. She raised her hands slowly, showing she carried nothing. "I didn't mean to," she said, her voice shaking. "He pushed me." Her words echoed weakly in the wide bay. A tall alien with pale skin and narrow eyes stepped forward. He wore a long coat marked with council symbols. His name was Tareth, though Lena did not know it yet. He looked at the empty space, then at Lena, then back again. "That," he said slowly, "should not be possible." More security arrived. This time, living guards. They moved carefully, spreading out, weapons ready but low. "Remain where you are." Lena nodded. Her legs felt weak now that the moment had passed. She leaned against the cart to stay standing. Workers whispered. Some aliens backed away completely. A few humans stared at Lena with wide eyes. Fear mixed with something else, something like hope. The body of Krellis was already gone, pulled into the endless pull of the gas giant below. An enforcer, a predator, dead in seconds. The platform had never seen anything like this. Lena was escorted away without chains, which surprised her. They led her through clean halls and quiet lifts to a holding room with clear walls. She sat on a plain bench, hands folded tight in her lap. Her heart slowly slowed, but her thoughts raced. She replayed the moment again and again. The shove? Ah. The empty space, the weight in her hands. She did not feel strong. She felt scared. Outside the room, voices rose and fell. She lifted him. "That species cannot." Check the footage again. "They evolved under higher gravity." Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt strange. Finally, the door slid open. Tarath entered alone. He moved with care, as if Lena might attack him without warning. He stopped a safe distance away and folded his hands. "My name is Tareth," he said. "I speak for the Platform Council." Lena nodded. "I'm Lena." There was a pause. "You understand what you have done," Tara said. "I defended myself," she replied softly. Tareth studied her face. No anger, no pride, just exhaustion. "Krellis was ranked Enforcer class," he said. "Genetically enhanced, combat trained. His species hunts in high-gravity environments." Ooh. Lena swallowed. "I didn't know." But the result remains. He tapped a device, and a recording played in the air between them. The shove, the grab, the throw. Slower this time, clearer. Tareth watched it twice. "Humans were listed as low risk," he said quietly. "Physically weak, socially adaptable, non-dominant." Lena let out a dry laugh. "We lift heavy things for a living." "That is not the same," Tareth replied. "What you did should have caused muscle failure, bone damage, loss of balance."
"But it didn't," Lena said. "No," Tareth agreed.
It did not. The platform shook slightly as ships began to move away. News traveled fast, faster than any ship. Elsewhere, messages were already being sent. Predators listened. Hunters noticed. On a distant route, a coalition warship adjusted its course. Back in the holding room, Tareth straightened.
"You will remain here for now," he said. "Not as a prisoner."
As a subject of interest, Lena looked up at him. Am I in trouble? Tareth hesitated. That depends on what you are. He left without another word. The door closed. Lena leaned back against the wall and stared at the ceiling. Her hands still felt warm, like they remembered the weight they had held. Outside, the platform buzzed with fear, confusion, and something new. For the first time, the galaxy was afraid of humans, and it all started with a shove. Lena sat in the holding room for what felt like hours, though the lights above made it impossible to tell. Outside, the platform continued its quiet hum, ships docking and departing, alien voices echoing through the corridors. The humans who worked there avoided the area now, and even the predators gave her wide space. It was as if she had become something no one dared touch. The door slid open slowly. Tareth stepped in, followed by another figure. This one was smaller, leaner, with pale green skin and sharp, intelligent eyes. He carried a small device that glowed faintly. This is Sarel, Tara said, a xenobiologist. He will observe and ask questions.
Your cooperation is expected,
Lena nodded. She was tired, but something inside her told her to stay alert. Humans were often underestimated, and she had learned early not to give anyone that advantage. Sarel's gaze swept over her, curious but cautious. You lifted an enforcer, he said. Do you understand how improbable that is? I just reacted, Lena said simply. I didn't think. He shoved me, so I stopped him. Sarel leaned forward slightly. That is not the point. Physically, humans should not be capable of such strength without mechanical aid or chemical enhancement. Then maybe you don't know humans well, Tareth interjected, voice calm but firm. We do not yet know enough. That is why we need answers. Sarel gestured to the device in his hand. A holographic display lit up, showing diagrams of human muscles, skeletons, and nervous systems. We will start simple, he said. We want to understand how you generate force, how you react under pressure, and how you recover from strain. Lena frowned. You mean tests? I don't like tests, Tara said. For your safety and for others. The room changed. Panels slid aside to reveal a small training space, marked with sensors and monitors. Lena stepped in cautiously, noticing the floor had markings for measuring strength, speed, and movement. Sarel moved behind a console, tapping on the device. Begin with simple lifting, he said. A weighted bar appeared on the floor. Pick it up. Hold it for 30 seconds. Lena bent down, her hands gripping the cold metal. She lifted, feeling her muscles tighten. The weight was heavy, but nothing unusual. She held it, sweat forming on her brow. The sensors blinked rapidly, recording data. Interesting, Sarel murmured. Your muscle density and grip strength are above average, but within normal human range? Tareth raised an eyebrow. Normal? Sarel shook his head. Compared to the profile we had.
Oh.
Not what a human is supposed to achieve. Next, Lena was asked to push against a resistance plate. It was meant to simulate an enforcer's shove. She braced, pressed, and slowly moved the plate forward. The data showed tremendous force. Sarel's eyes widened. You adapt quickly, he said. You learn from the action and compensate almost instantly. That is uncommon in other species. Lena shrugged. We survive by learning fast. The next exercise was endurance. Lena ran along a narrow track, weights attached to her ankles, resistance applied to her torso. Aliens usually failed these tests after a few minutes. Lena continued, her breathing steady, muscles burning but controlled. Sorel took notes without comment, clearly impressed. "You are not ordinary," he finally said, his voice quieter. "Your species has evolved under extreme conditions. Survival has shaped your body differently." Therese nodded slowly. "Which explains the event with Krellis." Lena felt a small surge of pride, quickly tempered by caution. "So what now?" "You rest," Tereth said. "We will not push further today, but others will come." Over the next hours, more humans arrived in the observation area. Mason, a mechanic, and Iris, a medic, were introduced. Both had been working on the platform for years, and both were surprised to see Lena held for study rather than punishment. "They won't let you go because of what you did," Mason said quietly. "Aliens like Krellis, they don't die easily."
I know, Lena replied. But maybe they underestimated us. Iris shook her head.
"They always do." Even as the humans spoke, whispers spread across the platform. Word of Lena's feat traveled fast. Aliens gathered at safe distances, watching. Predators who once carried themselves with arrogance now stayed silent. Some of the younger enforcers glanced nervously at the observation area, clearly reconsidering what they knew about humans. That evening, the holding room was quiet. Lena sat alone, thinking. She replayed Krellis's shove in her mind, how easily she had stopped him, and how fast the others reacted. Fear had been everywhere, yet no one had expected her strength. The door opened again. Terath and Sarel entered, followed by a small alien with wide eyes and thin arms. He introduced himself as Miro, a data analyst who tracked interspecies performance. "Humans are usually underestimated," Miro said, voice high-pitched and nervous. "Your species shows patterns that make prediction nearly impossible. We have data from dozens of encounters, and none show this level of raw power combined with adaptability."
Lena leaned back. "We survive."
"That's all." Sarl's gaze softened slightly. "It is more than survival. You think, adapt, and endure. You compensate for injury and fatigue. Your reflexes are unusual. Your endurance, remarkable. You have something the others do not understand." "Then maybe it is time they do," Lena said quietly. The room fell silent. Outside, the platform continued its slow rotation, unaware that a single human had already begun to change how the galaxy saw her species. Later, Tareth led Lena to a small observation balcony overlooking the docking bays. Ships glinted in the light from the gas giant below, and crew members moved about. "Do you understand," he said, "why they are watching you? Because I did something they didn't expect."
Exactly, Tereth replied. Humans are considered weak.
"You just proved otherwise. Many here are rethinking what that means." Lena frowned. "And some of them will want revenge." Tareth nodded gravely. "Yes, you are a warning now, but also an opportunity. Others will come to learn, or to fight." The sunset on the gas giant's clouds bathed the platform in red and gold light. Lena felt a strange mixture of fear and determination. She knew she could not stay quiet. Humans survive by taking risks, by standing tall when the universe expected them to fall. Night came. Security remained outside. Drones patrolled silently, and the whispers continued. The other humans left the observation area, giving Lena time to think. She tested her strength quietly, lifting and moving small objects, remembering the sensation of Krellis in her hands. There was no joy in it, only awareness. She had done something the galaxy had never expected. and the consequences were already moving toward her. Somewhere far away, warships would change course. Somewhere close, predators would reconsider their own rules. She realized humans had been underestimated, but now the attention was dangerous. One wrong step, one miscalculation, and the platform could erupt into chaos. The next morning, Lena was brought back into the observation room. New equipment had arrived, more sensors, more monitors. Saral and Miro were joined by another alien, a tall figure with silver skin and large black eyes. He introduced himself as Varen, a strategist from the Council. "Your actions have implications," Varen said, "not just for the platform, but beyond. Other species have seen the footage."
Many will test you. Many will try to control or eliminate your kind.
Lena's jaw tightened. "Then I will not make it easy for them." Cyril nodded.
That is a wise approach. We need to understand your species fully, but your instincts are correct. Humans survive because they adapt quickly and fight hard. That is what makes you remarkable. Hours passed as tests continued. Lena ran simulations of attacks, lifted weighted dummies, and demonstrated endurance in environmental chambers. Each result was recorded and analyzed. Sarel and Miro shared notes in whispers, clearly impressed and somewhat fearful. Tereth remained silent, watching Lena with a mixture of respect and concern. By late evening, Lena was exhausted, but unharmed. She had shown strength, endurance, and reflexes that alien science struggled to explain. She had survived scrutiny without failing. The door slid open again. A message arrived, transmitted across the platform. The screen displayed a warning. A coalition fleet had altered its route, responding to the reports of her actions. The fleet was known for hunting weaker species and testing new potential threats. Tareth read the message carefully, lips pressed tight. "They are curious," he said. "And they are coming." Lena's heart tightened. She had expected fear, but she had not expected attention from this far. The galaxy was larger and more dangerous than the platform itself. Sorrow looked at her. "You have changed what they believe. You have changed how humans are seen." "This is only the beginning." Lena nodded slowly. "Then we must be ready." The platform continued to hum around them, unaware that a single human had already forced others to reconsider everything they thought they knew. The whispers outside grew louder. Eyes that once dismissed her kind now followed her every move. Fear and curiosity mixed in ways that would soon ripple far beyond the station. And somewhere, far beyond the clouds of the gas giant, fleets adjusted their courses. The galaxy had noticed. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were a force to be measured and perhaps feared. Lena sat back, exhausted but alert, knowing that what she had done was only the first step. The galaxy would watch, test, and challenge her. She would have to be stronger than ever. The universe had begun a new calculation. Humans were not weak. They were persistent. They were adaptable, and they were far more dangerous than anyone had expected. The first human test was over, but the real challenges had only just begun. The platform was quieter than usual that morning. Alarms had stopped, but the tension lingered like a thick fog. Lena stood in the observation room, her hands gripping the edge of the railing as she watched cargo ships move in and out. Her muscles were sore from the previous day's tests, but her mind was alert. She knew the calm would not last. Tareth entered without knocking. His face was grave, and he did not speak immediately. Behind him, Saril and Miro followed, carrying devices and data pads. Lena straightened, sensing something urgent. They are here, Teref said finally. A coalition fleet has arrived near the outer docking ring. They are sending a demand. Lena frowned. A demand for what? The message was simple and chilling. Krellis had been an enforcer of some importance, and news of his death had spread quickly. The coalition wanted Lena. They called her a biological anomaly and demanded she be handed over for evaluation. They don't believe it was accidental, Sarel said. They think your actions were intentional, and they want to know if your species is truly capable of this. Lena's stomach tightened. She had acted instinctively. She had not meant to kill or to prove anything. She had only defended herself. And yet, now the universe wanted her as a test subject. They are dangerous, Tareth said. We cannot refuse, but we will not give you up easily. Humans were rarely counted as strong. That had just changed, and now she had to face the consequences. By mid-morning, the council of the platform had convened. Alien leaders filled the chamber, their scales and feathers gleaming under the lights. They debated quietly, but every voice carried tension. Varen, the strategist, spoke first. This human has proven herself dangerous. She cannot be released, but they will attack if we refuse. One elder said, the coalition does not negotiate with weakness. They only take. They want a test, Sorel said. A controlled environment. They do not want war, but war is a possibility. Data stepped forward. Then we offer a controlled challenge. One human, one enforcer from their species. If she survives, we negotiate from strength. If she fails, we still show they cannot take her easily. Lena listened carefully. She was being used as a bargaining piece. The council did not yet realize she was more than that. The decision was made. The coalition's envoy arrived, a single enforcer called Rovak. He was taller than any predator Lena had seen. His black eyes glinted with cold intelligence. His body was thick with muscle, plated armor, and visible implants for combat enhancement. The platform prepared a combat arena. It was a controlled space, circular, with walls that could restrain the participants if needed. Sensors and monitors surrounded it, recording every movement. Lena stepped into the arena, her heart beating fast. She was not afraid. Fear had been a teacher in her life. It made her faster, stronger, and sharper. Rovak entered from the opposite side. His gaze swept the arena, then landed on Lena. "Human," he said, "you are far from your home world. You will not leave here alive unless you prove your worth." Lena raised her hands slightly. "I only defend myself." Rovak smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Then we will see how you defend." Rovak moved first, fast and precise, a blur of strength and experience. Lena dodged instinctively, feeling the force of his strikes as she stepped back. She had faced Krellis once, but Rovak was different. He was trained to anticipate, to attack with strategy, not brute force. She swung, using weight and leverage rather than speed. Each time she landed, Rovak stumbled slightly, but quickly recovered. The audience of aliens watched in tense silence. Some whispered in disbelief. Humans were supposed to be weak. This human was not. Minutes passed. Lena felt her muscles burn, her breath come faster. Yet she adapted, shifting weight, using momentum, reacting to every strike. She blocked a heavy blow, countered, and pushed Rovak back against the wall of the arena. The sensors recorded impossible force and reflexes. Rovak staggered but did not fall. He roared and attacked again, this time with more aggression. Lena ducked, rolled, and used the momentum to flip him over. The crowd gasped. They expected a human to break. They expected her to fail. Instead, she controlled the fight with patience. Every movement, every push was precise. She did not need speed. She needed only to survive, to endure, and to respond. Finally, with a surge of strength and strategy, she lifted Rovak slightly and slammed him into the arena wall. He lay there, stunned, struggling to rise. The room was silent. The coalition observers had not anticipated this. A human, unarmed and without mechanical enhancement, had defeated an enforcer built for war. Taras stepped forward, signaling the arena to hold. Rovak's chest heaved as he looked up at Lena. His pride had been shattered, but his respect, grudging as it was, had begun to grow. "You are unusual," Rovak said finally. "I am human," Lena replied simply. Sorel and Miro watched the readings from the sensors, noting heart rate, reflex speed, and muscle output. Every measurement was beyond their expectations. Lena had survived where aliens thought no human could. Tarath spoke to the coalition delegates. "You have seen what she can do. We offer no more humans for testing. This one has proven her species is not weak." Rovak slowly got to his feet, dusting himself off. "Then we must see if she can endure a real hunt." The audience tensed. The words were a threat, not a challenge. A real hunt meant weapons, tactics, and no rules. Lena felt a chill, knowing that this would push her beyond what she had just survived. But fear did not stop her. Humans survived because they faced the impossible and endured. The Platform Council debated quickly, but Tarath made the decision. The arena would remain open, but rules would be imposed to prevent unnecessary deaths. It was enough to satisfy the coalition for now. Lena left the arena, muscles sore and clothes torn, but her mind sharp. She understood now that her actions had changed how humans were seen. They were no longer the weak, underestimated species. Word spread immediately across the platform. Aliens who had mocked humans now whispered cautiously. Some predators looked at her with fear, others with curiosity. The message to the coalition fleet was clear. Humans were a force to be measured. They were not tools to be tested. That night, Lena trained alone in the empty arena. She tested her endurance, her strength, and her reflexes. She moved through the motions as if preparing for what would come next. Somewhere out there, the coalition fleet waited. They would not leave the platform peacefully. But Lena was ready. Every bruise, every muscle ache, every test she had endured had taught her how to survive. And now, she understood something more. Humans did not just survive, they fought back. The galaxy had noticed, and Lena knew the next steps would be far more dangerous. But for the first time, she also knew that humans were no longer prey. They were a species that others would have to respect or fear. And as the stars of the gas giant reflected across the platform, Lena prepared herself. She had faced an enforcer once and lived. She had faced another, stronger, and prevailed. The real hunt was coming, and she would not back down. The universe was beginning to learn a lesson it had ignored for centuries. Humans were not weak. Humans were unstoppable when pushed. And Lena was only the beginning. The platform was no longer quiet. Alarms rang through the corridors, red lights flashing as security systems activated. The coalition fleet had arrived in full force, dozens of ships surrounding the station, their weapons primed and scanning. The council had tried negotiation, but the demand was clear. Lena must be handed over immediately. Lena stood with Tareth, Saril, and Miro in the observation room, watching the fleet outside the reinforced windows. Her muscles were tense, her mind alert. The calm she had felt before was gone. Now, the platform would be a battlefield. They will not wait, Tareth said quietly. They assume humans are weak. They will try to take control by force. Lena's jaw tightened. Then we fight. We survive. The platform is not built for defense. We have shields, but they can be breached. They have superior numbers, firepower, and tactics. Numbers don't matter if we use our strengths. Humans survive by adapting. The Council acted quickly, opening emergency doors and activating defensive protocols. Security drones and armed personnel moved into position. Lena, Mason, and Iris were brought to the main cargo bays, where there was space to fight and improvise. The first Coalition soldiers landed. They were predators, tall and heavily armored, with weapons that could pierce hull plating. Their leader, Rovak, stepped forward, his eyes fixed on Lena. "You cannot escape," he said. "This platform will fall, and you will come with us." Lena did not respond. Instead, she scanned the environment. Crates, cargo lifts, hydraulic presses, and maintenance rails, all could be used as weapons or traps. Humans on the platform were skilled at improvisation. Every bolt, lever, and panel was a potential tool. The first wave attacked. They moved with coordination, expecting weak resistance, but Lena and the other humans fought back with precision. Mason used gravity controls on the maintenance equipment, swinging heavy objects at the invaders. Iris tended to wounded humans while deflecting attacks with whatever was at hand. Lena faced the strongest of the soldiers directly, dodging strikes, using leverage and momentum to push them back, just as she had with Krellis and Rovak. Aliens on the platform watched in disbelief. Humans were not supposed to fight like this. They were supposed to flee or hide. Instead, they struck with endurance, cunning, and raw strength. The second wave arrived, more soldiers this time. They had learned from the first encounter, attempting to flank and isolate the humans. Lena anticipated their movements, directing her allies and countering attacks. She lifted and threw a soldier who had grabbed Mason, sending him crashing into a stack of cargo crates. The sensors of the platform registered impossible force, again baffling the Coalition observers. Even the drones struggled. Lena and the humans improvised rapidly, using magnetic panels and hydraulic lifts to create barriers and hurl obstacles at the intruders. The Coalition soldiers began to realize that brute force alone would not win this fight. Rovak moved closer, signaling his warriors. He attacked Lena directly, swinging with mechanical precision. She sidestepped, countered, and used his weight against him, forcing him into a wall. He roared in frustration, but he could not predict the human adaptability she displayed. Every attack was met with instinctive reaction, every strike countered by ingenuity. Meanwhile, Mason and Iris led other humans in guerrilla-style defense. They moved through narrow corridors, using the tight spaces to neutralize the numerical advantage of the Coalition. Mechanical tools became hammers, wrenches, and improvised shields. The aliens had not expected humans to use their environment so effectively. The platform itself became a weapon. Doors were sealed to trap enemies, lifts were dropped from above, and heavy cargo was swung or toppled to block paths. Every time the Coalition adapted, humans adapted faster. The aliens' confidence began to falter. As the battle continued, the platform's orbit began to destabilize due to damage to external thrusters. If not corrected, the station would fall into the gas giant below. Tareth coordinated the remaining engineers, but many were injured or overwhelmed. Lena realized that survival meant more than fighting enemies. It meant saving the platform itself. She directed Mason to the control panels while she and Iris cleared the immediate threats. Humans were fast, persistent, and willing to endure pain that the Coalition soldiers could not. Lena moved through the corridors like a storm, deflecting strikes and lifting enemies out of the way with incredible strength. Every movement was precise, every decision calculated to maximize advantage. The Coalition tried to regroup, sending in their heaviest soldiers. Lena faced two at once, using leverage and momentum to hurl one against the other. The clang of metal against metal echoed through the bay. She could feel her muscles burn, but the adrenaline kept her moving. Humans survived by enduring, and Lena was the embodiment of that principle. Iris treated the wounded mid-fight, keeping humans in the fight longer than the aliens expected. Mason repaired broken systems under fire, restoring partial control of the platform's gravity and energy systems. Together, humans held the line where no one thought it possible. The Coalition realized that conventional tactics were failing. Their enforcers could not anticipate the humans' adaptability. Rovak, angry and frustrated, called for a retreat to reorganize. But he knew the humans had already won critical ground. The platform was scarred, damaged, but it had not fallen. The humans had survived wave after wave of attacks, using their environment, their endurance, and their cleverness. Aliens who had mocked them now looked with awe and fear. Tareth approached Lena, standing among the exhausted survivors. "You have done what many thought impossible," he said quietly. "You have turned the tide of this battle." Lena wiped sweat from her brow, breathing heavily. "We survived," she said simply. "That is what humans do." Outside, the Coalition fleet lingered, unsure how to respond. They had expected an easy capture, but they found resistance that challenged every assumption they had about human weakness. Lena knew this was only the beginning. The Coalition would return, and next time, the stakes would be even higher. But for now, humans had proven they were more than prey. They were fighters, survivors, and adapters. The platform, though battered, remained under human and allied control. The Coalition withdrew, calculating, cautious. The galaxy was beginning to take notice. In the quiet that followed, Lena, Mason, and Iris tended to the injured and repaired the platform as best they could. Every human on the station had been changed by the fight. They had survived against overwhelming odds, and their confidence had grown. Lena stood on the observation deck again, looking at the distant stars. The battle had tested strength, endurance, and strategy. It had shown that humans could endure far more than anyone expected, and it had sent a clear message across the galaxy: underestimate humans at your own risk. She knew that the Coalition would return, but she also knew that humans would be ready. Survival was in their nature. Adaptation was their tool. And when pushed to the edge, humans did not break. They fought back. The platform might have burned if humans had faltered, but they had not. And in that survival, Lena and the others had become something more than workers or victims. They had become a force that others would have to reckon with. The galaxy was watching, and humans had just shown what it meant to survive when no one expected them to. The next battle would come, but Lena and the humans of the platform had already proven one undeniable truth. Humans were stronger than anyone had ever measured, and they would fight to the last breath to protect themselves and their home. The platform was quiet in the early hours, but only because the humans were preparing. Lena moved through the corridors, checking on each group of survivors. Mason was coordinating repairs to the gravity systems, while Iris tended to the injured. The Coalition fleet had pulled back, but it was clear they would return. Their retreat had been temporary. Tareth and Sarel joined Lena in the main control room.
They will come back, Tareth said, stronger, with more soldiers.
They do not yet understand humans. They will try again.
Oh.
Then we prepare. We fight smarter, not just harder. Sarel tapped his device, displaying sensor readings and structural weaknesses of the platform.
Your species has unique strengths, he said, but the station itself is fragile.
If we fail to repair the energy cores, gravity control, and power relays, the platform will fall into the gas giant. Lena understood immediately. Survival was not just about fighting enemies. It was about keeping the station alive long enough to hold the line. We split up, she said. I will lead a team to the energy cores. Mason, Iris, and others handle repairs and wounded humans. The rest hold the corridors and entry points. This is dangerous. The radiation levels in the external corridors are high, and enemy sensors will detect you. We have no choice, Lena said. If the platform dies, we all die. Lena assembled a small team of humans and a few allies she had earned trust with during the previous fight. Each carried improvised weapons, tools, and protective gear. They moved through the narrow maintenance shafts toward the energy cores, the hum of machinery around them loud in the confined space. The radiation was strong. Whoa. Even the aliens struggled to function under such exposure. Humans, accustomed to endurance and survival in harsh conditions, pushed forward. Lena's team reached the first energy relay. Sparks flew as damage from the previous fight caused instability. She worked quickly, adjusting control panels and rerouting power lines. Meanwhile, the Coalition fleet began their second attack. They sent boarding parties, dropping soldiers into the platform with magnetic anchors and grappling hooks. This time they expected resistance, but Lena and her team had prepared. Humans moved silently through the corridors, setting traps and creating ambushes. Mason lifted a heavy maintenance lift with a magnetic grip and dropped it on a group of soldiers, sending them flying across the hall. Iris swung a hydraulic press to block a doorway, forcing enemies to retreat. Lena faced a pair of elite predators head-on. They were faster and stronger than the previous wave, but Lena's instincts guided her movements. She dodged, lifted, and pushed with force that shocked even the advanced sensors on the platform. The energy cores were critical. Without them, the platform would lose gravity control and drift into the gas giant. Lena focused on repairing the main relay. Sparks shot across the panel as she worked, the radiation heat pressing down. But she endured. The humans around her followed her lead, each action precise and quick. Back in the corridors, fighting continued. Coalition soldiers tried to flank humans, but they had underestimated adaptability. Lena's team coordinated ambushes and diversions. Mason and Iris moved swiftly between the injured and the attackers, keeping everyone alive long enough to maintain resistance. As the fight reached its peak, Lena and her team completed the repair of the main energy core. Power surged back through the platform, stabilizing gravity and restoring control of key systems. Lights blinked back to life, and machinery hummed with renewed energy. The Coalition soldiers were caught off guard. Their boarding parties could no longer rely on sudden strikes. Humans had regained control of critical systems and now moved with coordinated precision. Every corridor, every stairwell, became a trap for the invaders. Lena continued to fight, pushing herself to the limit. One predator grabbed her from behind, but she twisted, using his weight against him, and sent him crashing into a wall. Her muscles burned, her body screamed with exhaustion. But she did not stop. Humans did not stop. They endured. Mason and Iris led small groups of humans, using repaired lifts and control panels to hurl heavy machinery at advancing enemies. The coalition soldiers were forced to retreat, struggling against humans who moved with endurance and determination, far beyond expectations. Finally, after hours of intense combat, the platform was stabilized. The main energy cores were fully operational, and gravity control had been restored. The boarding parties retreated, leaving the humans and their few allies in control of the station. Lena stood in the main corridor, breathing heavily. Around her, humans tended to the wounded and repaired minor damage. Mason wiped sweat from his brow and grinned. "We did it," he said. Iris shook her head, exhausted but smiling.
Barely. They'll be back, stronger.
Then we will be ready. Humans survive. Humans adapt. We fight back. Tareth joined them, his expression serious but respectful. You have proven something remarkable. Not just strength, but endurance, strategy, and coordination. The platform survived because of you and your team. Lena looked out at the view of the gas giant below. The battle had tested humans in every way, but they had prevailed. The coalition fleet had underestimated them again, and humans had survived against overwhelming odds. News of their victory spread across the platform quickly. Aliens who had doubted humans now looked with respect and caution. Predators who once held themselves above humans began to reconsider their assumptions. Lena gathered the remaining humans. "We've survived the impossible today," she said. "We've held the platform and protected each other. The galaxy will notice, and we must be ready. This is not the end. They will come back. But we have shown that humans cannot be controlled or broken easily." The humans around her nodded. Their fear had turned into resolve. They had faced impossible odds and survived. They had adapted and fought with endurance and cunning. They were no longer just weak species in the eyes of the galaxy. Lina, Mason, and Iris moved through the platform, checking systems and helping wherever needed. Every human who had survived the battle had learned something new about their own strength. Each had faced danger, pain, and exhaustion, yet they had endured. Outside, the coalition fleet hovered, calculating their next move. They had learned that humans were not weak. They were resilient, resourceful, and dangerous when cornered. Inside the platform, Lena stood with Tareth, Sarel, and Miro. "The real fight is coming," she said.
We must be ready for anything.
Tareth nodded. "Your actions have changed how humans are seen. Many will come to test you, to fight you, or to control you. But they will know that humans survive when pushed to the edge." Lena's eyes hardened with determination. "Then we fight."
We survive, and we do not give up.
The platform, though battered and scarred, had survived. The humans who remained were stronger, more confident, and more determined than ever. They had endured attacks, repaired the station, and fought against overwhelming odds. Humans were no longer considered weak or defenseless. They were survivors, fighters, and adaptable beings, capable of extraordinary feats. Lena looked out at the stars, knowing that the next battle would come. But she also knew that humans would be ready. They had survived impossible odds once, and they would do it again. The platform had burned under pressure, but humans had saved it. They had shown that endurance, strategy, and adaptation could overcome even the strongest enemies. The coalition fleet had retreated, but the challenge was far from over. Lena and her team prepared for the next threat, knowing that humans could endure anything. They had proven that survival was not just a skill, It was a strength that no one could ignore. And as the platform stabilized and the survivors caught their breath, Lena understood something clearly. Humans were no longer weak. They survived, adapted, and fought back when pushed to the edge. The galaxy had learned a new lesson. Underestimate humans at your own risk. Lena stood tall, exhausted but unbroken. The platform was safe for now, but the battles ahead would test them again. She would not falter. Humans never did. The next wave of challenges would come, but humans had already shown what it meant to survive and fight back, and the universe would remember. The platform floated quietly above the gas giant, but the calm was tense. The previous battles had left scars, walls scorched, corridors twisted, and the air heavy with the scent of burned machinery. Humans moved through the station, checking systems and helping the injured. Lena walked among them, alert and aware of every sound. The galaxy had already begun to take notice of what humans could do, and she knew this was only the beginning. Tareth and Sarel joined her near the observation deck, where the stars glimmered beyond reinforced glass. "The Coalition has withdrawn for now," Tareth said, "but their curiosity will not fade. Others will come, and some will come to challenge humans directly." Lena nodded. "Let them come. Humans survive. Humans fight back, and we will adapt." Sarl adjusted his device, showing readings of structural integrity, human performance, and potential threats. The data is clear. Humans endure stress, pain, and high-risk situations far longer than any other species we have observed. Your adaptability is unmatched. They will not understand it until they experience it themselves. It was a broadcast, transmitted across nearby systems. Lena watched as the footage of her lifting Krellis, throwing him, and the subsequent battles played. The galaxy watched humans in action, and the reactions were immediate. Aliens whispered in disbelief. Predators reconsidered their strength, and some humans in distant colonies felt a spark of hope. Tareth's expression was grave. The broadcast has changed everything. Humans are no longer considered weak or compliant. You have forced recognition, but with recognition comes danger.
Many will attempt to control, test, or eliminate humans.
Lena's eyes narrowed. Then we prepare. We do not wait for them. We show them humans are persistent. Over the next days, Lena led humans in rebuilding and fortifying the platform. Mason oversaw structural repairs and reinforced corridors. Iris trained humans in basic defense techniques, improvising with the equipment available. The platform itself became a network of traps, safe zones, and strategic points. Every corridor was mapped, every panel and lift examined for advantage. New humans arrived from nearby colonies, drawn by reports of the battles and broadcasts. They were untrained in combat, but Lena knew how to adapt them. She taught them endurance drills, lifting techniques, and environmental awareness. The platform became a school, a training ground, and a fortress. Outside, scouts from the Coalition and other species watched cautiously. Rumors of human resilience spread quickly. Some fleets reconsidered attacking immediately, fearing losses. Others began sending observers to study the humans directly. One evening, Lena stood with Tareth, Sarel, Mason, and Iris on the observation deck. "They will test us again," Lena said. "But this time, we are ready. We have learned. We have survived. And we will endure anything they throw at us." Terea nodded. "You have reshaped perception. Humans are now a species that others must measure carefully. You have changed politics, fear, and respect in one act." Sarel added, Your endurance, strategy, and ability to adapt have proven that humans cannot be predicted or controlled easily. Others will now calculate differently before engaging you. The platform's systems hummed with restored energy. Gravity controls were stable, shields functional, and weapon systems reactivated for defense. Humans patrolled corridors in coordinated teams, moving like one organism. Their strength was not just in muscle, but in planning, endurance, and unity. Suddenly, alarms blared. Sensors detected a fast-moving object approaching from the outer docking ring. Lena, Mason, and Iris rushed to their stations. The object was small but heavily armored. Scouts from a new species had arrived, curious and cautious, observing the platform's defenses. "They are testing us," Lena said. "They are not attacking yet. They want to see how humans respond." The scouts hovered just outside the platform. Lena's team moved into positions, prepared to show strength without starting unnecessary conflict. Humans had learned from previous battles. Control, endurance, and strategy mattered as much as raw force. Lena raised her voice over the comms. "We will not attack first, but we will defend our home, observe, and learn. Humans survive, humans endure. Humans adapt." The scouts analyzed the humans' movements, noting the coordination, endurance, and improvisation. They had expected weakness, but what they saw was discipline, strength, and unpredictability. Hours passed without conflict, and the scouts eventually moved on, transmitting data to their fleets. Lena and the humans knew this was only the beginning of a larger shift. The galaxy was watching, recalculating what it meant to face humans. That night, Lena walked through the corridors of the platform. Humans worked quietly, repairing, training, and preparing for whatever came next. She stopped at the observation deck, looking down at the glowing clouds of the gas giant. Her reflection stared back at her, tired but determined. Mason joined her. "You've done more than survive," he said. "You've changed how humans are seen. They will not underestimate us again." "I know," Lena replied, "but some will still try, and we must be ready." Iris appeared, carrying medical supplies and checking on the human teams. "We've lost some, but the rest are stronger than ever," she said. "Every person who survived knows what humans can do." The platform hummed, a fortress held by endurance, adaptation, and unity. The coalition fleet would return eventually, and others would challenge humans in ways they could not yet imagine. But Lena knew one thing clearly. Humans survived when pushed to the edge, and they fought back harder than anyone expected. The broadcasts across the galaxy continued to show the humans' feats. Videos of Lena lifting Krellis, throwing him, and fighting elite enforcers had become legendary. Humans in distant colonies shared them, inspired to train, endure, and survive. Aliens studied them. Predators calculated differently, and some fleets hesitated to attack, unsure how to engage a species they had always considered weak. The Platform Council recognized the shift. Humans were no longer considered expendable labor. They were recognized as persistent class survivors, a new category that combined endurance, adaptability, and strategic capability. The galaxy would have to respect them or risk defeat. Lena gathered the humans on the observation deck the next morning. "We have survived impossible odds. We have shown the galaxy what humans can do. We are stronger than they expected. But this is only the beginning. They will test us, challenge us, and try to control us. We must be ready." Mason and Iris stood with her, their expressions determined. "We will endure," Mason said. "We will fight."
We will survive.
Humans do not fight to dominate. we fight to survive.
And when necessary, we fight to protect each other. That is our strength. The platform was quiet once more, but every human on board knew that peace was temporary. The galaxy had seen humans at their best under pressure. Others would come, but humans were ready. They had endurance, ingenuity, and unity on their side. Tareth joined Lena and the team, observing the stars. "You have changed history," he said. "Humans are no longer underestimated. You are recognized as a force that others must respect or fear." "Then let them watch," she said. "Let them see that humans endure, adapt, and survive. They will learn that pushing us only makes us stronger." The platform continued its rotation above the gas giant. Humans moved through it like one living organism, training, repairing, and preparing. The Coalition and other fleets would return, and some would try to test humans in ways they could not predict. But Lena knew this. Humans had survived impossible battles, repaired the platform under fire, and proven their endurance, adaptability, and strategic skill. They had turned fear into respect, weakness into strength, and survival into a weapon. As the stars reflected in the glass of the observation deck, Lena stood tall, exhausted but unbroken. The galaxy would remember the humans of the platform. They would remember how one species, underestimated and dismissed, had survived attacks, adapted, and fought back when pushed to the edge. The universe had learned a new truth. Humans do not break when challenged. Humans endure. Humans adapt. Humans survive. And Lena, standing with her friends and fellow survivors, understood that she had been part of something greater than herself. She had begun a shift that would echo across the stars. Humans were no longer weak. Humans were unstoppable when pushed. The galaxy had changed, and the humans on the platform were ready for whatever came next. The challenges ahead would be greater, but Lena and her people had already proven the greatest lesson of all: underestimate humans at your own risk. The stars of the gas giant reflected across the platform, bright and endless. Lena took a deep breath, feeling the weight of survival, endurance, and responsibility. Humans had survived. Humans would continue to endure. And when the universe pushed them, humans would fight back with everything they had. The galaxy would never forget.